Are we 5 by 5? Can y'all see me and hear me? If so, welcome to the exclusive stream this morning. War Daddies only this morning. I appreciate the support outside of YouTube with another Christmas cup, I might add. Big T, that's an interesting conversation that you were having a few minutes ago about the 90 days. And if it's cool with you, I'm going to run with that for tomorrow morning on YouTube on the main channel. But I'll give you credit for it, brother. Yes, Katrinka, how are you doing? First exclusive of the new year. Uh, a reminder, this will replay for the folks that have subscribed to the bunker. They're going to get hit with ads and stuff as soon as I take this public. But right now it's unlisted and we are live, ad free. We better be ad free. um, Interesting question, Chad. I mean, it's all speculation. There's no way to know that for sure. Only the Clintons know at this point how many it would be. Um, yeah, Tammy, believe it. There, we got some dummies out there in society. We got some real dummies. We do. People that are just focused on other. You know, you have to step away from the news, like, getting back to this morning's message. And you have to honestly step away from the prepping sometimes and do other things. Like I just had the Atari out here yesterday. I brought this for Minute Man. I don't see him in chat, but I was going to show it to him because back in the day, he had sent me some stuff that he was just tired of, and I'm building upon that. But yeah, we got Tammy. We got a bunch of dummies out here. But that's what separates us from the zombies or the eventual zombies. Speaking of the poll, I know it's kind of a weird poll, but later this evening, you're going to see a poll, whether you hear from Patreon, the bunker, or the main channel. And there are going to be a couple of movies to pick from for Saturday, Friday and Saturday night, the replay. And I wanted to find out if one of those movies, one of the options, should be a zombie movie or not. And let me see here. Mother of Cajuns, how are you? Captain Silva, um, the prepping artist, who I think were first in the house. Boy, what a shock. Black Cat Whirly Gig. Next to breathing, water is the thing that works best. You need them both, right? Lots of them. Um, hey, I resemble that comment. Did you see the book this morning, Dynamite? I was hoping you caught that. I don't know if you saw the beginning or not. But, yeah, that's a fine book that was sent over. I appreciate that. Um, well, I don't know. It depends on A Troop. It depends on the list that you were on. Um, Tammy, yeah, thank you and happy new year to you as well. Um, well, they can be used for that. I haven't played that in a very, very, very long time. That's Caveman James is into that, into the D&D and stuff. But they can also be used for like Axis and Allies. It can be used for the tabletop wargaming as well, which is what I like them for. I just like the color of them and stuff. And I'm a nerd. I've got German themed dice, I've got Soviet themed dice, American themed dice. I don't think I have any of the British, so, and definitely none of the French. Who's playing? Hopefully nobody in here is French. Who would play the French in a World War II tabletop game, right? Um, John, my poll is a black box with only the answers. It is not showing me your poll question. I'm sorry. Somebody had mentioned that. I don't know if there's an update. Maybe you need an update on your browser or phone or something, or YouTube's just being wonky. Somebody had mentioned that as well this morning on the main channel. But the poll is just asking, do you like zombie movies? I'm trying to figure out if I need to throw one in the discussion this week or not. Um, what do the circles represent? Which circles? Who- if The ones right here, would be a lack of sleep and trying to accomplish way too much for the time I have. But if it's something else, it's something else. Um, I don't know for sure. Maybe he may have, because he runs in the same types of circles. Um, he does the more chess-like and from what I understand, like the Viking style games. I enjoy the again the war gaming with the tanks and the actual units. I enjoy painting them more than anything, but I do like the war gaming. Red Dog, yes, of course, we love zombie movies. It's all I need to hear. Tremors. Well, see, yes, I've not watched Tremors in forever. I love that movie. Um, I haven't seen it forever either. Tremors and Critters. I think we can justify anything on Shotgun Saturday Night as long as there's a shotgun in the movie somewhere, right? So there probably is. Oh, the bunker membership. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Katrinka. They are oh man, I'm such a nerd. They are Nuka-Cola caps from the Fallout game. It's a video game and a tabletop board game and stuff. And they have different sodas on there. And so I just thought it was cool. And the other reason is, I guess I can go ahead and throw this out there. I'm going to be drinking Nuka-Cola starting Thursday. Every time we go live, me and Backwoods, I'm going to have some kind of bootleg Nuka-Cola there as well. And since y'all are supporting outside of YouTube, it is going to be the blue, which is the quantum this week. And of course, he smokes Backwoods cigars because why wouldn't he? He's freaking Backwoods. Florida man, thank you very much again, and welcome to the chat. Um, no. Have any of you had or seen the VC box for TV? Gives you every station and no bill. No, but I'm not very tech savvy, so I don't know if that has anything to do with like the digital TV tuner or if it's something totally different. Um, Need Twinkie, Zombieland. Hey, look, Zombieland was free last night when I checked. So that may be one of the options. I've seen it a couple times, but it's been a while. So I want to broach a subject. I know it's our coffee time and everything, but this came across I think it was on Yahoo Finance several days ago. I caught it. I was sitting in bed and I saw this, and I really don't know what to think about this. Um it was something to do with the generational wealth transfer because we're always talking about, transferring wealth in this country and stuff like that. But the article said Gen Z is in trouble and they laid out the reasoning why. And of course, again, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm freaking bored. Everybody's asleep. So I'm reading it. This is Yahoo is like a shady place anyway. But what they were saying, the case that they're making is Gen Z is kind of slacking on purpose. Of course, not every single Gen Z person, but by and large, they're slacking because they're waiting on the generational wealth transfer from boomers. They're waiting to inherit, money or property or homes from boomers, their grandparents. And this article was saying, well, broach, there you go, Chad. The article was saying, well, that's not actually going to happen because of the medical industry, the healthcare industry. What's actually happening is people that are considered boomers, they're having to pay so much more for healthcare now as opposed to when they were young, what healthcare cost back then, that it's completely wiping their savings out. And they're saying Gen Z is screwed basically. They're saying boomers are having to pay, when they go into assisted nursing facilities, or maybe they're at home and they have to pay more for insurance and medicine and stuff, and they don't have a lot left. And they're saying this is actually, I agree, it's lazy, kneel to no one. And some of the comments on there, of course, it's Yahoo, but the Gen Zers were chiming in and they were pissed off about it they kind of had this attitude in the comment section. It was owed to them somehow. But anyway, they were saying that Gen X is the last true independent generation. They're saying for Gen X is going to be a lot tougher, which is my generation, but they're managing to make it on their own. They're not waiting for free money to fall out of the air or inheritance or stuff like this. They're saying boomers are enjoying their life. They're paying for everything that they need in their life, and there's nothing left over for Gen Z. And they're saying when it gets to the point, I guess, where Gen Z, I forget how they worded it. The builders, I think, were the boomers, the caretakers was Gen X, and then Gen Z was screwed. I think they called them the undertakers because they're going to be burying the older generations and they're going to be left with nothing. And so they were saying it is a generational wealth transfer, but for the first time in history, it's not transferring from one generation to the next. It's transferring from the boomer generation to billionaires who own the medical industry. And so they're eliminating wealth out of the public, if you will. And Gen Z, I mean, if you're in Gen Z, I can respect that, Black Cat. I'm leaving a treasure map with clues. Leave it in cursive, they'll never find it. Um, but yeah, if you're in Gen Z and that's your retirement plan is to live off of someone else's money via inheritance, you need a new plan, is what they're saying. Because by the time, look, people age. That's the natural circle of life, right? When Gen Z gets to a stage in their life when they need medical care and they need assisted living, they're not going to be able to afford it. And they don't have jobs that are going to help pay for it. They're saying these people aren't chasing 401k. They're not even considering retirement. Most of them are still living with maybe Gen X parents or something like that. So, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, but again, it was 1:30 maybe in the morning. And their lack of work compromises Social Security. It does, as well as the lack of families and having children. That's an excellent point. I don't even think they brought that up about them not have. I don't know. Um, it doesn't seem like the population is in decline here in the United States because we have so many. Oh my gosh, I got to dance around it. Questionable faces coming across the border. I can't believe we live in a time where I have to tap dance around that. But, actual legal Americans, the birth rate is down. People just aren't the younger generation, they're just not interested in having kids in the same way that boomers or even Gen X were. And I would argue, poking my chest out as a Gen Xer, we're used to being independent. We're kind of that generation that, I don't know, we grew up and we had to figure out a lot of stuff out on our own, you know? So I figured I would mention that. I don't know. Yeah, I saw that comment earlier. I don't think they're gonna do that, but yeah, yeah. Who knows? I do have a question for y'all. Where did all of the sanctuary cities go all of a sudden? I was thinking about that this morning as I was skimming the news. I'm like, New York City, they're complaining, they're totally overwhelmed. They're trying to drop them off in New Jersey. Now they're trying to get them back out of the city. And I'm like, man, a couple of years ago, it was considered in to be a sanctuary city. Come on, come on. I think the turning point was probably Martha's Vineyard and people showing up there and those rich people freaking out. Oh my God, you can't live here. We love you. We want it. We're inclusive. Now get out. I think that was probably the turning point, but I don't know what happened to sanctuary cities. Um, Our generation doesn't even want handouts. We still have some pride left. We do. And oh man, I'm gonna sound so petty about this. My wife and I, Miss Nation, we were talking about this the other day, and maybe it shouldn't bother me as much as it does, but it freaking bothers me. and so I'm gonna vent about it. When we're in a store and we're paying, whether we're using cash, whether we're using card, fast food restaurants, anything, which we don't go to very often. Now there's this new thing where they're constantly asking you, "Would you like to round up?" Okay? It used to be, "Hey, would you like to round up for this charity?" And they would explain the charity, and you're like, "Of course, I wanna help." It's only 82 cents or whatever. There's not a charity anymore. They're not mentioning anything. Like, I guarantee you, if you went to your local McDonald's today and you're paying, it's gonna ask if you wanna round up. They just assume, hey, you're gonna do it. And a lot of times it'll ask, "Hey, do you wanna leave a tip, a gratuity?" And I'm like, "For what? For for what? Putting food in a bag here? I mean, what's going on really with this?" It shouldn't bother me, but it just gets under my skin because it feels like it's just expected at this point. You know what I mean? And I have nothing against charity. I think charity is awesome, but I would like to know where the money's going. Whether it's 82 cents, $82, $8,200. I wanna know where the money is going. Who is this helping? Can you at least take 10 seconds and pitch it to me? Or maybe give me the option to round down. How about that one? But they don't seem to wanna do that. Um, I know I sound petty saying that, but my wife's like, "Don't get fired up about this, don't worry about it." It's aggravating to me because I believe in tipping and stuff like this when it's full service, but it's kind of like when you're going into a place and they're just putting it in a bag, and that's on the employer to pay them a livable wage. You know what I mean? And and we're paying, again, we don't go to fast food often, but the prices have basically doubled to ensure these people were getting the money they were demanding in the first place. I don't know. I don't know, all over the place. I wonder how many people lose their homes this year. Florida man says, my mortgage is going up something like $400 a month because of the homeowners insurance rates hikes in Florida. Ours has went up. It has not went up $400. Um, they're gonna be quite a few. And the reason that I say this, not to be a gloomer and doomer, but the reason I'm saying this, Florida man, is for the past 3 or 4 years now, probably longer than that, but especially since the beginning of the pandemic, people have been using credit to pay off credit, to pay off credit. They've been living on borrowed money to survive, to buy the things that they absolutely need. And as things continue to increase in price, I don't think they're going to be able to do that anymore. Because the $400 a month, that's huge, by the way, but that's not gonna be the only bill that you have go up this year. Your other insurance, if you have medical insurance, that's probably going up. Fuel and heating oil, that's going up. Groceries, that's going up. Medication, that's going up. And so for a lot of people, they're just barely treading water. They barely got their nose above, the top level of water, and it sucks. It really does. But this is what happens when you put Biden and you put Harris in there, and you put people when you put them in there based on, identity politics or a hatred for Orange Man, as opposed to them actually being competent. Um, it is, and I don't I don't know how I feel about it because I don't own a restaurant. I can't imagine right now owning a restaurant, having all of that overhead. Their employees are demanding, "Hey, we need 20, whatever it is, $2 an hour." Used to be 15, then it went to 20, now they're saying 22, I think. Plus we want full, insurance to work in fast food and stuff like this. Plus their food costs has went up, plus their utilities and things, and their insurances went up. So I can't imagine, but it just feels like passing it off onto the customer in a scummy way. "Would you like to round up?" No, I would not like to round up. The meal already cost $15, and I was paying $8 for the same meal 3 years ago. I really don't wanna round up. We're all hurting. You know what I mean? So it's not really the customer's job to come in and bail you out, if that makes sense. I always say, "Nope, not happening. Money in my pocket is important to me. I am important to, you know." Um, so Tammy, it used to be when you were paying with cash and they didn't want to give you change back, right? Oh, well, can we just keep this 84 cents? Would you like to go ahead and round up so we don't have to bust a dollar and try and do math in our head and all this stuff? But using a card, a credit or a debit card, just really doesn't make any sense. Why would you round that up? 80 again, petty on my part, 82 cents, right? What's that? But you're getting hit with it everywhere you go now. And it's digital money on a card. Why would I round that up? Again, if you tell me why, and it's a charity, if you're buying kids food or something like that in the local community, I'm all about it. I'll buy the things to put up in the window and stuff, but just saying, "Hey, you wanna give us some extra free money for nothing, no reason whatsoever?" No. It's my 82 cents, son. The dollar starts collapsing, what's the first thing that's affected? I think jobs. I think jobs will be slashed. You're gonna start to see, now this is just my opinion, Chad. I think you'll start to see this snowball down the hill type of effect where jobs are lost, people start to lose homes because they don't have as much expendable income to buy things. That's going to lead to more job loss in other areas and stuff. Um, and everybody's going to lean on the social system that's already overwhelmed. Um, and really, the tough part about that is once that begins, and I think it's probably started up already, there's no way to correct it. You just have to take the fall and hope you can survive the fall, and eventually it'll get better in the country. Will it take 2 years, 4 years, 20 years? Who knows? Um, yeah, now that's totally different. We do tip big when we go to a sit down restaurant, especially if the service is good. If the service is crap, we still tip because I know they don't make a lot of money, but if the service is great, we'll leave 25, 30% as a tip. But I'm saying when you go and let me see here. When you go and it's ready um at a fast food joint, they've already got it ready. You're just going in, it's busy, they've thrown it in a bag, handing it to you. You're doing your own card. Oftentimes now they don't even have cashiers. You're using kiosks, so you basically work there. Um, you know, it'll happen sometimes at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? When you're using the kiosk, you're like, "Who am I giving this money to?" The cashier is not getting the tip. You know what I mean? And they just don't even explain it to you anymore. Um, they did, and people tried to tell them, smart people tried to tell them, this is what's going to happen. When you force people to pay you $20 in minimum wage, which I agree, minimum wage has not kept up with the inflation, but I don't think minimum wage was the problem. I think inflation was the problem. Um, because we have idiots in charge. But when an employer has to start paying you $20 an hour and they were paying you 9 or $10 an hour before, they're going to cut your hours. They're going to cut your benefits. They're going to raise the price on customers, and this is going to drive less people through your front door. And you try to tell these people this, but they can't look past, oh my God, I'm going to make twice as much money now. No, instead of working set hours at $10 an hour, now they're going to give you $20 an hour and they're going to cut your hours in half. You know what I mean? And you're still not gonna be able to make it because we still have idiots in charge in DC. Um, that's what I'm saying. Give me the option to round down, and then I'm cool. Then it's no longer an aggravation. You know what I mean? No, let me at Kroger's, let me shave 22 cents off. How about that? Since nobody's gonna tell anybody why, let's round it down and shave that 20 whatever cents back off, and I'll keep that on my card. Headed to the old Dollar Tree today. with a $20 bill to start my challenge this year. That's awesome. Be interesting to see what I can come up with. Well, between taxes and the fact that they've tacked on a quarter or 50 cents to everything now. Um, we have been waiting at this VA. I saw that in chat this morning after driving an hour to get here. Now they have to reschedule. VA sucks. It sucks for this reason. It was a little better under Trump, but it still wasn't perfect. You know, having to wait for a date to be open in the first place, then having to travel and then always rescheduling. Well, we don't have enough staff right now, something like that. Um, that's awesome, although I've never seen it. Never seen Breaking Bad. I know it's a great show. I just haven't seen it. I've seen some of Yellowstone. We ended up not finishing that. We're gonna have to go back to it, but it's been a while now, so we may have to restart it. We weren't too far in. They weren't, and it's a struggle. It we see this a lot. My wife is, like, trying to help them and stuff. Um, but that's crazy, you know? If you can't count change back from a dollar, you know what I'm saying? I'm not just gonna give you 80 plus cents because you refuse to learn how to count change back. That's crazy. That's not a charity, that's ignorance. But anyway, I don't think Big T's in here now, but he had mentioned it before, and I'm gonna give him credit in the morning. We'll talk about that in the morning. Can you make it as a prepper for 90 days without leaving your home? Do you have everything you need? Realistically, what would that look like? That's a great topic, I think, for tomorrow morning. And then, of course, Thursday morning, I will be live. I will have Backwoods as my co-host. It's gonna be freaking awesome. Hopefully, y'all will be there. Until tomorrow, y'all take care and God bless.